The tinted window rolls down with a snore as Hank leans over on my elbow rest from the driver's seat and laughs. Huh, you need a ride, bitch? The plush leather cushion of the Caddy's passenger seat offers the warm, embracing welcome of a mother's forgiveness, allowing me a moment to regain some composure. Giving the interior a quick inspection, I eject the vulgar display of power CD that Hank is rocking and casually toss it out the window to burn in the scorched hell pit before quickly rolling the window back up. Searching the floorboard for my CD case, I'm asking myself if it's possible any of that was real, then wonder if it matters. Just to satisfy my curiosity, I turn to ask Hank, "Hey man, you didn't happen to see any of that back there, did you? With the homeless chick? No?" Ignoring my question, Hank calls me a spaz and asks, "Why the fuck do you even hang on to these antiques if you're just going to throw them out the window?" He does not let me respond before continuing, "You're lucky I don't make you get out and find that shit. And don't you dare throw out another macho mug." Tossing an ounce of decent weed on my lap, he demands I put a wrap on one as his black Ride the Lightning t-shirt slides smoothly over his freshly shaven scalp. He pulls it over his head by the collar, leaving the dim glow of the Caddy's control panel to illuminate the face of a gravestone. Licking two zigzags together, I roll a massive joint and hit it a few times before passing it and ask with as much sincerity as I can conjure if there's an age he sees himself being too old for getting kicked out of strip bars anywhere on the horizon. Holding in a giant hit, he responds in a breathless voice. "Schultz, those bitches were nothing but little fucking cock teases, dude. You should have heard that bitch." When it becomes clear he believes I was looking for a real answer, I ask him honestly just how he thinks it is strip clubs work. I tune him out after the second time he mentions the CIA in search of a CD to get us through the final leg of this long, arduous day. Hovering my finger over Appetite for Destruction before giving it a pass, by the time I turn the page, he's got a strong rant going about golden eagles and paper clips. He needlessly reminds me we're in a band, but then adds an absorbing wrinkle about becoming big rock stars. He tells me we need to get accustomed to the idea that the Merry Pranksters live and die together. Then, taking his eyes off the road to hold a stern gaze, he tells me with his raspy voice, "And we sure as hell get kicked out of strip bars together, so quit being a little fucking bitch." Finally deciding on Muddy Waters' Electric Mud, I turn the volume down to ask him if he can see how whipping out the raisin mid-lap dance could be frowned upon, but he simply drives on, his face stoic and unmoved. After I've debunked the myth of the honest stripper as well as the lie that strip bars are somehow hotbeds of infidelity, Hank begins cracking each knuckle on his right hand with his thumb one by one. When he's ready, he admits, "Yeah, dude, I guess I see your point. Unless you've got mountains of coke, or you're the Sultan of fucking Brunei or something, chances are you're going home and beating off." Hank turns the volume back just as we're crossing the Mississippi River. I'm completely zoned out at this point, watching the white crests on the black water that look like tiny bumps of cocaine scattered randomly on a glass mirror. Hank flicks my ear, snapping me out of a brief fog and says, "Yo, didn't you used to bang a stripper?" While my mind buffers, I wonder if he's not confusing me with Dickie, who still has a Mount Rushmore of stripper G-strings tacked up along the wall of his bedroom. "Do you mean Tiffany? She was a dancer, but she wasn't a stripper." I let that linger around the air of the driver's seat for a beat before following up, "There are dancers that aren't strippers. You know that, right?" He laughs neutrally, like he's not convinced. "That chick was smoking fucking hot, dude." I guess I've done worse." "Whatever happened to her?" "I don't know," I say. "She was nutty, like legit crazy, like worse than me. We were in that cuckoo's nest together, breaking every rule they had." Then I confess, "To be fair, she could very easily be a stripper now." The volume on the muddy waters is turned down, but that tune I was humming in the parking lot continues playing louder and louder in my head. While Hank's predatory eyes maintain a keen gaze on an old muscle car that keeps drifting in and out of the Caddy's blind spot, I'm watching the spirit of downtown St. Louis open itself up to me. Driving along the riverfront, I look to my left at the vibrant skyline, progressive, yet with a deep-rooted Gothic vibe dwelling just beneath the surface. Pivoting to the right, my eyes fall upon the old-timey steamboats lining the bank of the river and notice dark plumes of smoke that I know should not be there, rising from one little boat. I rub my eyes and tell myself that nothing can hurt me from inside the warm bosom of the Caddy. Glancing over at Hank for a glimmer of acknowledgement, when I see that he's preoccupied giving that cat in the shitty Camaro the prison look of death, I relight the roach from the ashtray and start hitting it inconsolably, hoping to pray away the visions. Fighting the impulse to panic, I blow a massive hit out the window and watch in horror as hissing sparks begin to shoot from the riverfront into the open sky. With as much composure as I can manage, I motion to Hank to check out the flaming steamboat, but when it's clear he sees nothing extraordinary, I roll the window back up. A strong deja vu vibe begins to take hold, and something from beyond tells me to ask Hank if he ever heard of the big fire that almost destroyed the city. He asked me if that was the one with the old lady and the cow, and I tell him to wait while the details are revealed to me. Watching evil hallucinations of the burning riverfront play out before my eyes like a montage of horror, the hot roach burning the tips of my fingers, a visual narrative begins to unfold. In flashing visions that come in and out of focus like old black and white photographs. Voluptuous French whores smoking bamboo-filtered cigarettes walk their pet albino tigers along Laclede's Landing, soliciting the rugged frontiersmen. After a while, I tell Hank I think the fire with the cow must have been somewhere else. Methodically describing the scene that's playing out in my mind, terrifying images of a roaring fire jumping from the wooden stern of one boat to the paddle wheel of another, the visions seem accurate. The scene takes a dark turn when the image of an immigrant brigadier, Irish I'd guess by the fight in his eye and the flaming red beard, scrambled frantically around the burning tugboat. His pale skin is charred and bubbling like a leper before the tissue and muscle melt clean off the bone. I watch as the man says a little prayer, like he'd made a decision about something before blissfully leaping into the black water to his death. I think a firefighter was killed or something, I report back to him. It must have been some big turning point for the city, and nothing was the same after that. He rubs his Danzig skull tattooed on his left pec and asks me if the city changed for the better or for the worse. I think about that for a moment, then answer, I don't think that's how change works. We all make choices, and from there it's just, whatever. By the time the glow of the city has dimmed to a dull simmer, and muddy waters has convinced me that I can't lose what I never had, I realize Hank's voice has grown from a low hum to an audible shout. He's ranting about strippers again, and though I'm pretending to pay attention, the unmistakable stench of urine and sulfurized malt liquor fill the car. When he shouts, "Dude, I think one of those bitches stole my drumsticks," suddenly I'm drowning in a sea of chaos. I ask if he's talking about Val, maybe one of Dickie's girls, or the voodoo zombie whose cryptic words telling me, "Use that eye of yours, white boy, that dragon's breath is all over you," continue to haunt me, but Hank just shakes his head in an exaggerated disappointment. Turning down the music, I hold up a silent finger to Hank and pull my buzzing phone from the pocket of my jeans. Before I even look at the screen, I'm visualizing the 3 letters that hold so much potency. The mere thought of her name appearing on my phone has the power to forgive all sins. Slowly exhaling, I read the text. "Hi, baby. What are you doing tonight? I want to see you. XOXO Val."